Hi guys, it's Allie from Hemet Health. I am here to show you how to start seeds indoors. This is a great way to be a little bit more self-sufficient, and it's a fun activity for kids. So I got all my supplies out here. We're going to be starting some kale seeds. This is just a blend, and on the back of the packet, that's what you're going to follow to know when to start the seeds inside. So for kale, we want to start 4 to 6 weeks prior to the last frost dates. So here in Essex, that's about the first weekend of June is when you can start planting outside. So we're a little early right now for this, but that's okay. I'm just doing this as a demonstration. So I have all of your supplies here. So I have the seed starting mix, and then a couple of amendments. This is worm castings and a soil booster composty type mix. And then this is potting mix. So we're going to be using these small containers to start our seeds. So we have this small plastic container, but you can also be kind of creative and use a egg carton or even cut up paper towel roll or toilet paper roll. So since we're starting in these small pots, we're just going to use the seed starter mix and a little sprinkle of these amendments. And you want to make sure that your soil is wet before you put your seeds in. It's just a lot easier to get that seed nice and drenched. If you're going to use a bigger pot, so something about this size, you want to do potting mix and then the seed starter mix on top of it with your amendments. But we're not doing that today. So I'm going to start with this guy, and I'm going to scoop all that in there, make sure I have enough. Kind of level it off. You want it to be nice and loose. We don't want it tightly packed because we want to make room for the roots. And then we're just going to sprinkle a little bit of the amendments on top. We're going to mix all this up as well. Just a little sprinkle, the worm castings, which have a lot of nutrients, and then the compost on top too, which is also very nutritious and has lots of minerals. So now that we have a little bit and we know we have enough to fill our container here, we're going to dump this out and wet it down. So I have a spray bottle here. We'll just spray that down. Make sure you get lots of water. Mix it all up. So to test to see if you have wet enough soil, we're going to do a squeeze test. And so this is really dry still, so I'm going to add lots more. Just going to dump some in. Water. So a little bit of a messy activity, but that's okay. All right, so now we're starting to get somewhere here. So the test that you can do is if you squeeze your soil, a couple drops of water should come out, and that's when you know that it's wet enough. Okay, we're going to fill our container back up. I could even use a little bit more water. So maybe we'll do a couple in this one. And maybe a couple in our toilet paper rolls here. So these don't have a bottom, so you want to make sure you do those into a container, like in a tray where you're going to keep them. And it's good to put this stuff into a tray because they have holes on the bottom, and if you water it, the water will leak out the bottom. So you want something underneath to catch the water. All right, so now that we've filled our trays here, we could always make more soil mix. We're going to make a little indent. So I'm going to use my tag, my identifier tag that I'm going to use anyway, and then just make a little hole right in the center, and that's where the seed will go. This is the tricky part because you only want one seed, so these are very, very small. I don't know if you can see those. So you want to just get one little seed, maybe 2 seeds into each hole. Drop them right in. Okay, there's one in each of them. All right, we're just gonna kind of push the soil right over top of that hole. Again, we don't want to pack it tight down because we need some water to get to that seed, and we need some room for that seed to grow. Okay, and so we're just gonna add a little squirt of water to wet that soil again. So seeds love water. And these toilet paper rolls are actually kind of cool because you can just take that whole thing and pop it right into the dirt. So with something this small, you'll let this stay in here, and you want to make sure you cover it up. So now that we have our seed in the dirt, you can fill that guy up too. Now that we have our seed in the dirt, we're going to cover it up and put it under some light. So there's dirt, there's seed, there's water, there's a cover, and we can put it under some light. So this is a store-bought cover, but you can also just use some plastic and just kind of drape it over lightly. And so you want to keep it covered so that it stays warm and moist. But as soon as they start to sprout, you don't want this to touch the actual leaves. So you would just take this one off completely and let the sprouts keep growing. With something like this that has some room, you can actually even let those seedlings grow almost all the way till they touch this. So then this will go under the light, and you'll just watch it and water it every day. So this is one that we did 2 weeks ago, and you can see these are the first leaves, or the cotyledons, and then these are the true leaves, these second leaves right here. So if you're going to transplant into a bigger container, so these will have to be transplanted into a bigger container, something like this size, you want to make sure that they're about this big before you do so. And you want them to have their second leaves, and you would pop them gently out of the soil, shake off the soil from the roots, and put it in right into the new soil, into your bigger pot. Okay. And then this is one we started about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Whoop, it's dripping. So these will actually can just stay right in here, and you can trim and eat right from this. And with greens and kale and stuff like that, you can trim and eat it, and it'll just keep growing and growing and growing. You don't have to necessarily like cut the whole plant down, eat it, and then replant. It'll just kind of keep coming. Okay. The same goes for something like basil. You would just leave these top new leaves and kind of pop the leaves off that are from the side, and you can use those. And if you trim all around and just leave a little bit of the newer leaves, it'll just keep growing and growing. And so you can kind of harvest from those for a couple weeks, if not all summer. So fun activity to do. You can definitely use different household items to kind of make it work. You want to put your seedlings under some light. So we don't have a lot of light in our apartment, so we have an actual rack system, but if you have a really sunny area in your house, that could work too. So, you know, keep it covered, keep it watered, and lots of light, and hopefully this is a fun activity you can do with your kiddos. Thank you.